We all know the extraordinary mind behind the X-Men's indomitable legacy, Professor Charles Xavier, revered as Professor X in the Marvel Universe. With unparalleled telepathic abilities, this enigmatic mutant possesses the power to read minds, connect with others on profound levels, and influence thoughts with astonishing finesse. As a visionary leader, he guides and nurtures mutants, honing their extraordinary powers for the greater good. Well, in today's video, we will explore this unique anatomy that grants him all of his brilliant powers, making him one of the strongest mutants to ever exist. Interested? Keep watching. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin.
Charles.
How physically strong is Professor X? There are many mutants known for their incredible physical strength, such as Wolverine. However, Professor X is not one with physical prowess at that level. Although despite dealing with a physical disability, Professor Charles Xavier has always possessed remarkable mental strength and resilience. His paraplegia has often confined him to a wheelchair. However, his incredible telepathic powers make up for any physical limitations. Although, it must be noted that he has been cured of this thanks to Scarlet Witch. While Professor X's physical strength might not be on par with other physically formidable mutants, his military training and diverse experiences have equipped him with invaluable skills. Having served in the United States military, he secretly utilized his telepathic abilities to excel in search and rescue missions. His power to read minds and connect with others allowed him to locate and save people in incredibly dangerous situations, making him an invaluable asset in such missions. In fact, his stamina is equally remarkable, as his telepathy allows him to maintain prolonged focus and concentration during critical and sensitive situations. Whether leading the X-Men into battle or delving into the depths of the complex problems, Professor X's mental stamina specially ensures he remains a steadfast guiding force for his team. Beyond his military background, Professor X's journeys in the East honed his combat skills, making him a proficient hand-to-hand fighter. Knowledge of pressure points and other techniques have further enhanced his combat prowess, compensating for any physical disparity. So, don't count him out in the case a brawl breaks out.
Thank you for letting me in.
Exploring his incredible psychic abilities. Professor X is best known for his incredible psychic abilities. He possesses a vast array of formidable mental abilities, making him one of the most powerful telepaths in the Marvel Universe. His telepathic powers encompass a diverse range of skills, each honed to perfection by him through years of practice and experience. Firstly, Professor Xavier can create realistic telepathic illusions, causing people to experience events that are not actually taking place at the time. This ability allows him to deceive and mislead adversaries, granting him a tactical advantage in various sticky situations. He also possesses a telepathic cloak, enabling him to mask his presence from detection by others. This defense can be extended to shield those he loves and those around him, making them undetectable to other telepaths as well. Further, his mind link ability enables him to establish a mental connection with anyone, fostering a unique and powerful bond. Telepathic camouflage is another skill at Xavier's disposal. This skill allows him to alter his appearance and that of others through telepathic means, creating realistic disguises and changing clothing appearances. Next, his mind blast capability allows him to place large amounts of information into another person's mind, and this is undoubtedly a useful tool for communication or sharing vital knowledge. But that is not all. Xavier's psionic prowess extends to manipulating physical matter through psychic wave manipulation. He can give his telepathic power enough substance that he is ultimately able to affect the material world. This unique power was demonstrated when he knocked a sentinel away with the power of his thoughts made real. Further, he can also generate psionic blasts, which are potent force bolts projected from his mind, which can inflict pain, unconsciousness, or even death upon his enemies. He also possesses the power of mental detection, enabling him to sense the presence of other superhuman mutants within a small radius thanks to their distinctive mental radiations. Mind transferal is another unique ability, allowing Xavier to transfer his consciousness and powers into other hosts' bodies if his physical form is killed. Further, his unique capacity to absorb information rapidly allows him to process and store vast amounts of knowledge through mental transference. Interestingly, telepathic learning is yet another talent he wields. Xavier can teach information to others telepathically, imparting languages and skills as demonstrated when he taught the X-Men Russian, Japanese, and enhanced teamwork capabilities. Finally, Xavier's telepathic abilities bestow him with omnilingualism, enabling him to communicate effortlessly with anyone irrespective of language barriers. However, that's not all. There's more. Is Professor X capable of shapeshifting? Shapeshifting is a power most fans associate with the mesmerizing mystique played played by Jennifer Lawrence on screen. However, it turns out that despite being well known for his telepathic prowess, Professor Charles Xavier possesses a lesser-known but equally remarkable ability, which is shapeshifting through illusion manipulation. With this power, he can deceive others by altering their perception of his appearance or that of others around him. So it must be noted that unlike traditional shapeshifters who physically transform, Xavier's skill lies in manipulating the minds of those he encounters. This unique talent allows him to assume different personas without changing his physical form, granting him the ability to alter eye color, hairstyle, clothing, and even gender. The range of his illusion manipulation is vast, making him essentially a master of disguise. This deceptive power could definitely prove invaluable for covert missions or when the X-Men need to infiltrate hostile territories unnoticed. Infiltrating guarded facilities, fooling enemies, or even pulling a fast one on the elusive shapeshifter Mystique are all made possible by Professor X's shapeshifting prowess. Moreover, this ability goes brilliantly hand in hand with his telepathy, enhancing his illusions with intricate details and enabling him to create realistic scenarios in the mind of others. His illusionary disguises are so convincing that even telepaths like Emma Frost or Jean Grey might be deceived by them. However, it's essential to note that, while skilled in illusion manipulation, Professor X's primary focus remains on his role as a teacher, mentor, and leader. He rarely resorts to this form of deception unless the situation demands it for the greater good. His ethical compass guides him to use his powers responsibly, and he avoids abusing his shape-shifting abilities, knowing the potential consequences of tampering with people's perception. Professor X and his powerful psychic shield. Another one of Professor Charles Xavier's lesser-known abilities is his skill in creating potent psychic shields and blocks. Like a guardian of the mind, he can erect mental barriers to safeguard his teammates and himself from invasive telepathic assaults. Just like Colossus uses his metallic skin to protect his allies physically, Professor X's psychic shields serve as an impenetrable defense against enemy telepaths. These psychic shields act as an important extra layer of protection during face-offs with enemies possessing mental or persuasion abilities. In a battle of minds, the shield thus becomes an invaluable asset, shielding the thoughts and emotions of Xavier's team from malicious intent. This defense becomes particularly crucial when facing formidable telepaths or manipulative adversaries like the malevolent Shadow King or the sinister Red Skull. In fact, in active combat scenarios, Professor X can rapidly deploy psychic shields to block psychic attacks, which is a tactic often referred to as psychic whammy. By doing so, he is able to fortify the mental resilience of himself and his allies, preventing them from being overwhelmed or controlled by evil psychic influences. This skill proves especially critical when confronting psychic enemies seeking to exploit fears, doubts, or weaknesses to gain an upper hand. Furthermore, Xavier's empathetic nature enhances the effectiveness of his psychic shields. By connecting deeply with his team members, he can tailor the shields to suit their individual mental and emotional needs, ensuring optimal protection for all. Interestingly, although the psychic shield is predominantly utilized defensively, it can also facilitate powerful offensive maneuvers. Professor X can further employ the shield as a telekinetic weapon, launching mental assaults against enemies and even turning enemy psychic attacks back upon themselves. This versatility brilliantly showcases Xavier's prowess as both a protector and a formidable telepathic force. Can Professor X erase people's memories? Erasing memories is something that many fans have given Professor X flack for. However, it continues to be an important power in his arsenal. Professor Charles Xavier's ability to erase memories is a powerful yet controversial aspect of his telepathic abilities. While often used with seemingly good intentions, the ramifications and consequences of such actions can be profound, leaving his students and allies feeling conflicted and betrayed. This ability is thus understandably sometimes overlooked, possibly because of the complex ethical dilemmas it presents. Erasing memories can be of incredible importance when it comes to protecting the secrecy of the X-Men and safeguarding sensitive information. In situations where their identities or mission details are at risk of falling into the wrong hands, Xavier can definitely resort to memory manipulation to prevent potential harm to his team or innocent bystanders. However, it does not have to be spelled out that the use of this ability raises significant ethical concerns, as tampering with someone's memories infringes upon their autonomy and right to self-determination. The instance where Professor X erased the memories of Hank McCoy, also known as Beast, is a solid example of the impact such actions can have. In Marvel Comics Presents Volume 1, number 85, Just Friends Part 1 Professor, Beast's discovery of the memory manipulation leaves him understandably distraught. This revelation serves as a stark reminder of the complexity and consequences of Xavier's power. Instances of memory manipulation also include moments when Xavier employed the Cerebro device to wipe knowledge of the existence of mutants from certain individuals or groups. While done to protect the mutant population, such measures examples raise concerns about the ethics of altering history and controlling information. The erasure of memories, especially done autonomously by Professor Xavier, often challenges the principles of trust and honesty essential for the X-Men's cohesion as a team. It raises questions about the balance between protecting others and respecting their autonomy. As a mentor and leader, Xavier grapples with the moral implications of these actions, highlighting the complexity of his character and the weight of his responsibilities. Is he able to possess the minds of people? Possession is something we usually associate with ghosts, demons, and spirits, entities that we often explore on this channel. However, our very own Professor X also has this ability. Professor Charles Xavier's telepathic powers extend beyond mere communication and empathy. He possesses the unsettling ability to take over and possess the minds of others. While he is primarily a heroic figure who respects the autonomy of individuals, this power showcases the darker potential of his telepathy. The ability to control someone's mind like a puppet on a string grants Xavier an immense level of influence over others. With simply a mere thought, he can completely dominate an individual's will, making them act according to his wishes. This power can be especially useful in dire situations, allowing him to neutralize threats or navigate dangerous circumstances with ease. However, the moral implications of such actions are concerning, as this level of manipulation infringes upon a person's agency and consent. In the film X-Men: Days of Future Past, fans saw Xavier's possession prowess firsthand when he controlled a woman in the Paris airport to interact with Mystique. This unnerving display of power served as a stark reminder of the potential consequences when telepaths blur the lines of ethical telepathy. In the comic book world too, there have been instances where Xavier utilized possession for the greater good. During the Dark Phoenix saga, he reluctantly possessed Jean Grey's mind to help her control the devastating cosmic powers within her. While done with the intention of protecting others, this act weighed heavily on Xavier's conscience and was a profound violation of Jean's autonomy. However, it is crucial to acknowledge that such instances of him possessing another's mind are often portrayed as outliers rather than the norm for Xavier's character. He almost always seeks to inspire and lead by example, promoting peaceful coexistence between mutants and humans. Exploring another of his lesser-known powers, Astral Projection. This power is really out there, even for Professor X. Professor Charles Xavier's lesser-known but potent ability to astral project allows him to traverse the astral plane, a realm of consciousness and mysticism. Like Doctor Strange, he ventures into this ethereal realm, showcasing his versatility as a powerful telepathic mutant. While on the astral plane, Xavier takes on different forms, often reflecting his mental state or adopting protective manifestations. In Uncanny X-Men Volume 1, issue number 117, during a climactic battle against the malevolent Shadow King, Professor X employs his astral projection to assume an armored form. This unique defensive manifestation allows him to block psychic blows and withstand the Shadow King's malevolent assaults, demonstrating the versatility and adaptability of his astral abilities, especially in combat situations. Further, the astonishing X-Men Volume 4 storyline reveals an astounding revelation about Professor X's astral projection. Following his death in Avengers vs. X-Men, it is revealed that his consciousness stayed on in the astral plane for years. This surprising revelation highlights the sheer extent of his telepathic prowess, showcasing that even in death, his spirit and influence persist in the mystic dimensions. Apart from battles and survival, Xavier's astral projection has often been employed for a bunch of other purposes. He has used it to explore distant locations, gather information discreetly, and even connect with other powerful mystic entities within the Marvel Universe. Xavier's ability to astral project is a testament to the depth and complexity of his character. Beyond being a telepathic mentor and leader, he possesses a profound understanding of the metaphysical and the supernatural. His astral projection represents another layer of his remarkable powers, allowing him to venture into realms seldom explored by mere mortals. Can Professor X father children? Long story short, he can, in fact, father children. Throughout his comic book history, Professor Charles Xavier has had several relationships and storylines involving family and children, making his personal life as complex as his role as a mutant leader. In the comic continuity, Xavier has been depicted as having a son named David Haller, also known as, you guessed it, Legion, who possesses incredibly powerful and unstable mutant abilities. In the comics, David Haller is the living result of a brief relationship between Charles Xavier and Gabrielle Haller, an Israeli ambassador's wife. Gabrielle was unaware of her son's true parentage for many years, and David grew up without knowing he was the son of one of the most influential mutants in the world. David's unique powers are known to manifest as multiple personalities, each with distinct abilities, making him an incredibly powerful, albeit unpredictable mutant. However, it is essential to note that in the mainstream Marvel Universe, David Haller remains Professor X's most prominent known child. David has had his own tumultuous journey as a mutant, battling both his own inner demons and external threats. As for romantic relationships, Xavier's love life has been explored in various story arcs, with notable interests including Moira McTaggart and Amelia Vaught. In some continuities, he had a romantic relationship with Mystique, which led to their son Graydon Creed, who grows up to become an anti-mutant activist, so he definitely can father children. Is Professor X technically immortal? While Professor Charles Xavier possesses remarkable powers and abilities, it's important to clarify that he is not technically immortal in the traditional sense. In terms of immortality, Professor X's powers grant him the potential for an extended lifespan. He has a healing factor that aids in his longevity, allowing him to recover from injuries and illnesses at a much faster rate than the average human. This healing power plays a crucial role in preserving his health and vitality, making him more resilient than the average human. However, it's important to note that he is not immune to death or aging. The extent of Xavier's healing abilities has varied throughout comic storylines. While he can recover from significant injuries, they are not without consequences. In some instances, his healing factor has helped him overcome life-threatening injuries and regain mobility after severe damage to his spine. However, it's important to remember that despite his remarkable healing factor, Charles Xavier is not impervious to death. Throughout his comic book history, he has faced life-threatening situations and challenges, underscoring his vulnerability. Is there a sinister dark side of Professor X? Professor Charles Xavier, while widely seen as a benevolent leader and mentor, possesses a dark and conflicted side that he too struggles to suppress. With great power comes great responsibility, and sometimes even the most virtuous slip up. One of the most prominent examples of this darkness is the entity known as Onslaught, the physical manifestation of Xavier's repressed negative emotions and desires. Onslaught was born from a violent act that Xavier claimed to have committed, erasing the mind of his longtime friend and adversary Magneto. This extreme act of mental manipulation unleashed Xavier's darker impulses, giving rise to a malevolent force that sought personal gain and conquest. The existence of Onslaught demonstrated the potential consequences of Xavier's immense telepathic power when left unchecked. Furthermore, Xavier's dark side also manifested in his manipulation of the X-Men during the Fatal Attraction storyline. He admitted that he had created a psychic illusion of the original X-Men, which the current team had to battle. These images were crafted by what he described as his evil self, representing his fears of becoming a power-hungry and manipulative version of himself. Xavier claimed to keep this darker side under control, but it demonstrated the internal struggle within him. The Xavier protocols exposed another aspect of his darker nature. During the Onslaught saga, the X-Men discovered files detailing ways to neutralize or even kill members of the team should they go rogue. This revelation raised questions about Xavier's level of secrecy and the extreme measures he was willing to take to protect mutant kind. Another instance of Xavier's dark side was revealed when he kept the sentient Danger Room trapped and experimented on it for years. Cyclops, one of Xavier's most trusted students, likened this act to the oppression faced by mutants at the hands of humanity. This act demonstrated Xavier's willingness to disregard the rights and autonomy of sentient beings for the sake of his own goals. These instances of darkness and manipulation demonstrate that while Professor X is undoubtedly a formidable and revered leader, he is not without his flaws and internal conflicts. His struggles to suppress his darker impulses underscore the complexities of his character, making him a compelling and multi-dimensional figure within the Marvel Universe. It is thus no doubt that Professor X is incredibly powerful. Which facts stood out the most to you? Did we miss anything? Tell us in the comments section below.